Hello, sports fans. Welcome to Blue Club Sports, coming at you with an audio edition of the podcast today. And I just want to give my thoughts on the final game of the season, or what would end up as the final game of the season for the New York Giants. They basically got their pants pulled down in Philly at the Link. 38-7 was the final score. I sarcastically celebrated the Matt Breida touchdown, which, I joked that it was the start of a comeback, but it really wasn't. Really nothing to really talk about the game. The game was over, in my opinion, before the first Burger King commercial. So that told you how bad the game was from a Giants fan perspective. And of course, the talking point, the thing that everyone's asking me, does this take away from what the Giants season was in total? The Giants, to refresh your memory, finished with a regular season record of 9-7-1. If you go back and watch my Giants season preview video, which is still up on the channel, I had the Giants finishing in 9-8. And so I guess you can say I thought the Giants performed as well as I did, but it doesn't feel like that. It felt like they really overperformed from what I thought. If you go back to the video, I state that the Giants will win despite Daniel Jones. Daniel Jones won't play that well. And, I thought Saquon Barkley was going to play well, I believe. I could be wrong, but I do remember the one thing I did say is that this team's going to be playing better under a good offensive coach and Brian Daboll, but Daniel Jones is probably going to be in a situation where, yes, he played all right, but nothing that warrants a big contract that he wants in the offseason. Nothing that warrants the Joe Shane, Brian Daboll regime to regret not giving him that fifth-year contract, that fifth-year option on his contract. So, but, I think Daniel Jones had a good year. I really did. So that was wrong, but, that's not bad. I said they were going to go 9-8. Who could have foreseen we were going to get a draw against the Commanders? But that's what happened. And what to make of this season? I think they exceeded my expectations. Yes, I get it. They have a very similar record to what I predicted. But the point I'm trying to get home is that they performed on the field better than I thought, if that makes any sense whatsoever. We had games where we played really well. The Indianapolis game to clinch our playoff spot. We absolutely killed them. The defense I knew was going to be playing better under Wink Martindale, but with the parts that we have, it's really impressive. There's definitely needs to be work done on this roster, and I think that's apparent. When our leading rusher, our number one guy, is Isaiah Hodgins, who wasn't even in training camp with the Giants. He was cut by the Bills, and we picked him up mid-season. That should tell you that there's some groups on this team that lack talent, to say the least, and that's a vast understatement, to be honest. The Giants, there's a lot of these players on the roster that don't belong. Our expectations are what they should be, which is contending for the division title, making a deep playoff run, and eventually getting into the Super Bowl and possibly winning it. There needs to be massive roster moves. There are some position groups that just suck. They say middle linebacker. That's evident. My dad's a Cowboys fan, and he makes fun of us that we have Jalen Smith being our starting middle linebacker, but really, our hands are tied. We have a lot of you know, bad moves from the Gettleman era. For example, the Kenny Galladay contract is really killing us. Our highest paid receiver is basically a guy that we use for blocking. That's great, to be sarcastic. Also, the Kadarius Toney situation, what a bum he was. Um, yeah, there's a lot of things that Dave Gettleman did to this team that we're still trying to clean up. Um, and yeah, the fact that this team somehow made the playoffs, and not only made the playoffs, but got a win against the Minnesota Vikings, just proves that this team, exceeded my highest expectations. Because at 9-8, which was my prediction, I didn't even know if that was a playoff spot. I would be borderline. There should be better teams than us, but somehow we got in, and somehow we won. And that's full credit to Brian Dable and that Minnesota game. There's no way you can deny that it was. There's no way you can deny Daniel Jones giving him some praise. He played amazing. Of course, Philly, everyone played like crap. You can't just single out Daniel Jones. Well, I guess you can if he is really asking for big money, then you can ask those questions. But, there was a press conference with Brian Dable and Joe Shane. I saw little snippets of it. I'm sure there's like an hour-long video to watch, but they're probably just doing politician speak, not committing to any big ideas or big proposals. But it appears that they want Daniel Jones and they want Saquon Barkley back. And the news that Saquon Barkley didn't rejected a contract offer in the middle of the season that would have put him, I think it was $12 million a year. He wants something more along the lines of Christian McCaffrey's contract, which was $16 million a year. I'll just say this. And then with Daniel Jones, I'm sure he wants big money, as any player would want. This is all I'm going to say. Brian Dable and Joe Shane have money in the bank in the way that they've done enough to warrant our patience and to warrant our support. So whatever they decide to do, I'm just going to speak for myself, and hopefully I speak for a lot of Giants fans out there. I think whatever they do, the majority of the fan base will be behind on their decision. So if Saquon, we can't get him back next year, it's not, when there shouldn't be any riots on the streets. And same thing with Daniel Jones. If we can't come to an agreement, we part ways with Daniel Jones. It is what it is. I fully trust Joe Shane and Brian Dable. Yes, Daniel Jones had a great game in Minnesota, but the fact remains that this is not Joe Shane's quarterback, and this is definitely not Brian Dable's quarterback. This was a quarterback drafted by Dave Gettleman and was handpicked by former coach Pat Shurmur. So if they decide to move off Daniel Jones, it is what it is. I don't think there would be a cap hit, since it's basically he's a free agent. And same thing with Saquon, there shouldn't be a dead cap hit. So really, they can go out and get whoever they want as quarterback. And maybe the guy's already in the room. Maybe it's Tyrod Taylor. That one I'd be more hesitant. I would be expecting more along the lines that they'll get someone like a Mitchell Trubisky, a player that's recently worked under Brian Dable, or even trying to move up in the draft and get a star quarterback from this upcoming draft class. But yeah, just to close it out, whatever Brian Dable and Joe Shane decide to do with those two players, that's basically what this offseason is going to be about. Will they bring Daniel Jones back? Will they bring Saquon Barkley back? Time will tell. I'm very excited about this Giants offseason, especially the fact that we have a lot of cap space. We have, we can, the book's in front of us, and we have the pen. We're in charge of our own destiny. We can really Joe Shane and Brian Dable are in full control of where this team goes, whether that's in the right direction or the wrong direction, which I really doubt, to be honest. And that's what makes me excited about this team. Yes, we got our pants pulled down against Philly, and Philly is Philly. They're intolerable. They're just horrible. So I understand the season ended on a bad note, but that doesn't change the fact that this team is going in the right direction. Unlike some teams in this division, like the Dallas Cowboys, um, who knows what they're going to do with that situation. And I don't want to go off track, but in my opinion, it's Dak's fault. It was Dak's fault, the reason why they got eliminated against the Niners last year, and it's definitely Dak's fault why they got eliminated this year. And in my opinion, if the Dallas is going to change their ways, they really need a clean house, and that's top to bottom, new coaches, and definitely need to trade Dak. But maybe I'll do a different video on that, going more in detail. But yeah, circle back to the Giants. We're on the right track, and I'm excited about this offseason. And if you stay here on Blue Club Sports, I'll give you updates on what's going on this offseason with the New York Giants. And just to close this video out, if you are a fan of the New York Yankees, New York Giants, and also if you fancy the Premier League and support Chelsea Football Club, this is the place to stay. I do videos as much as I can. I am a college student, so please be patient. Sometimes I don't have time to do videos and do all the necessary editing. Sometimes I'll just do audio format like this, which is way easier to edit and way easier to, just pump them out. So sometimes if I'm in a rush, I will just do audio only. So hopefully you guys understand. If you like the video, please drop a like, subscribe if you haven't done so already, and comment down below what you guys think about the New York Giants. Are they headed in the right direction, or are they, heading into the unknown and possibly heading in the wrong direction? I'll be looking forward to reading those comments. Thank you for watching, and you guys take care.